gathered you all here today to mourn the loss of someone we barely knew but felt like we knew all too well. I've brought some friends here with me to say a few words. Hopefully together we can mourn James and feel these emotions.
Hey, this thing, hey, it's blinking, right, listen,
I find it hard to even talk about. I felt like it was just yesterday I was...
The sorrow I feel, now that James is gone, no one will understand the love we...
at the bank boat, making potions, and it felt like every 60 seconds I just got a rush.
I've had a wee dram, maybe 3, maybe 4, who's counting, eh? Anyway, tell Morag I love her.
Of pure joy. And it wasn't sailing XP, it was looking into James' eyes.
I feel nothing without James the bank boat, James the bank crab,
He really was taken from us too soon.
James the bank man, James, where are you, James? I am lost without you, James.
And the cat. Oh, both of them. I'll sleep on the porch.
Yep, they did it. They officially did it. In cold blood, with no remorse. The day that we met him, they killed James the bank boat. They took him out. They fucking sniped his ass. It was too good to be true, unfortunately. Rest in peace, James. But with James being slain, we do also get a whole bunch of week 1 changes and fixes. So I'm going to go through the entire blog. I've not read through this myself, so we'll be going through it the first time, giving our opinions and what we think based off of our first week's experience. Before we go into it, I'll just give a brief how I'm enjoying it so far. As you can see, we are actively sailing right now. This is my favorite type of sailing, which is every 60 seconds I sail and then I go back to not sailing. It's pretty fucking sweet. But I've been really enjoying it. We have worked up to 78. We were doing a bunch of duo charting yesterday, me and Andre together. It was hilarious. I've been really enjoying the Gwyneth glide, but we haven't got to lock in really on XP. So the next week or so is probably going to be the lock-in / grind to 99. So I'll give you the full feedback in a whole video once we complete the skill. But so far, I'm really fucking enjoying it. It's been really fun. I'm skipping the gameplay loops that don't seem fun to me. I haven't done a single port task. I didn't enjoy Jubbly Jive, so I did it once and then I left. I'm really enjoying Gwyneth Clyde, so I'm doing a bunch of that. The salvaging is nice and AFK. I'm looking forward to getting the higher tier salvages. The charting is fun, the exploring is fun. There's not a lot of stuff to gain from sailing, I think is my number one feeling of negativity that I have, but that was something that I accepted and understood way before the update came out. Like, there's no end game anything that's coming from sailing until it's existed in the game for a year. Like, there's not going to be really much that's relevant for an end game account, whether you're an Iron Man or a main account. In my opinion, there's not too much that you care about once you're done sailing, unless you want to do more sailing. But I think that will eventually come. Really, the number one thing that I've gained from it so far is crystal shards, baby. If there's one thing that this skill is giving me that I care about more than anything else, it's them divine potions. So I'm having fun. I'm looking forward to what it will give us in the future, what it will bring, new bosses, new locations, new items that will be relevant to sort of late / end game. I know we're nowhere near that yet, and I don't expect to be, but that's my big feeling of like, I don't feel like I'm getting a whole lot from it, but I am having fun. So this is my first week's thoughts on sailing. Overall, pretty decent, but we're gonna go over the blog now and read the changes and go ahead and see what they've cooked other than killing James the bank boat. Okay, sailing week 1 feedback and fixes. Hotfixes, anything that they decided was so important / couldn't wait till Wednesday. The Gwyneth Glide Shark Trial was not possible. They fixed that. I don't know when this was. It was very much possible by the time I got to it, so I hope none of you guys were bullied by that. The Crystal Extractor not working in certain points. I've had issues with this where it just randomly doesn't work. This was before they made the changes. Also, we were having weird issues where, like, it was deactivating at the end of the Gwyneth Glide and you would have to reactivate it. Very annoying. I'm glad they're fixing these small things, but again, just little bug fixes. Other reports for the Crystal Extractor not resetting correctly. Yeah, that's what I was saying right there. It would randomly deactivate. It would just be really frickin' annoying. With the lost supplies on the Barracuda trials, essentially, depending on how you drove over certain lost supplies, what would happen is it just would not collect like it normally would. They moved the hitbox by accident, it looks like. So they tried to fix the hitbox and by accident made it worse, so they've reverted it back to the on-release hitbox. Smooth. Very smooth, JAGEX. Alright, going into the big change log for November 26th. So this is all of the things that weren't big enough to hotfix, but they needed to change. And here it is. The one we were waiting and not hoping for, but we knew it was coming. I made the video because it was so broken that I just wanted to put something out there. I found out about it and just thought it was a joke. But that's how dumb it was, and just immediately put out that video. So you can no longer collect your extractor while you're bank standing at the bank boat. Rest in peace, bank stand sailing. I no longer have 99 sailing banked. That is just unfortunate. Really, this change needed to happen. I loved that I could do this, but at the same time, the gameplay loop of any time you need to do a bank stand skill for more than 10 minutes, you have to go drive to the bank boat, otherwise you're kind of throwing, I think is really stupid. It was just being at a certain bank gives you 40k extra XP per hour, if we're rounding up. It's just dumb. There shouldn't be a reason that any specific bank is like, yeah, if you're here, you get just a bunch of free XP. It was really stupid. It deserved to be changed. I'm glad they haven't actually touched the extractor outside of this. You are seeing a lot of crying about the extractor being broken, and the extractor is like, it's broken if we had like an extractor for rune crafting. You know what I mean? If we had an extractor for agility, this would be pretty broken. If you had a crystal extractor for fletching, that every minute you could click it and get a 600 fletching XP drop, but like the other alternative is fletching dragon darts for 600k XP per hour, who really cares, right? So like in some sense, if you're looking at it in the terms of like any skill, the crystal extractor is really strong. But like in the grand scheme of sailing, you do one lap of the Gwyneth Glide, and between the crates and the lap itself, you get damn near 20,000 XP. I think the crystal extractor is fine. They might have overtuned it a little bit, but I don't think it's so broken that they need to do a week 1 or a month 1 nerf. I think if they want to address the crystal extractor, you're gonna get a lot of really, really negative feedback. So overall, I'm glad that they haven't decided to do a week 1 nerf on the extractor in terms of the core functionality. However, I think the main reason for this is because the race to 99 has already happened. It was a big deal. People made a huge ordeal about it. Obviously, it was very exciting. If as soon as that's over, they're just like, yeah, we're cutting the crystal extractor down to 400 XP per click, it's such a minor nerf and change, and it's one that realistically is understandable. If the crystal extractor was a 300 XP drop when they launched it, like it was never a 600 XP drop, we would all still be clicking it every 60 seconds. There's no reason not to. It's still really strong. So like, it could have been halved and been fine. But the reason I don't think that they should change it, even though it would have been a fine and good change, is because it's going to leave a lot of the normie players, or the players who have a little bit more grass touching in their life. I think it hurts them a lot more when all the nerds get to juice their extractor for the first week, and then the people who don't even have one built yet, it gets kind of demolished or cut in half before they even get one. I think that would feel horrible. So although I think they could nerf it, they could nerf it to a 200 XP drop and it would still be worth clicking, because it's free. So I don't think they should, because it would just hurt a lot of people. That's my opinion on it. I don't know if you guys agree, disagree, but I think they should keep it the way it is. I like the change of deleting it from the bank boat, and from docks is kind of irrelevant. My new strategy is, if I need to just sit on my boat and click the extractor while I'm editing, I leave at a dock, I drive forward 5 tiles, and then I start clicking my extractor. So I really think they only needed to change it for the bank boat, but I think they're trying to avoid, like, banking an inventory of molten glass at, like, say, the Port Roberts or something, and then jumping on your boat, and then clicking your extractor. Like, they're trying to avoid every form of bank stand sailing, even if it's, like, bank stand sailing with more steps. So I see why they did the change, but you can easily just drive your boat forward a tiny bit and start extracting, so it's a little bit odd. Going on to the next one, sorry that we yapped for 5 minutes on the first thing, but it was the biggest and most important thing. We've reduced the animation on the fetid pools with the Jubbly Jive to help improve performance. We'll continue to monitor this area to look to further address performance issues. For me, I think the biggest mistake with Jubbly Jive, it's not all the minor performance issues, it's the fact that they decided to build this course over 3 game chunks. Every time you pull up to that boat in the back, and you have to load in that 3rd chunk that you barely touch, you get like a full second stutter, and this was happening to me every time. I have a pretty expensive computer. It's old, but like, I've got an i7, a decent graphics card. We're cooking in terms of like what you need to be able to run RuneScape, and my PC was still struggling to run this course seamlessly no matter how low I changed my settings or hid as much stuff as possible. I think the main issue is just the chunk loading stutters, so I don't think they can fix that, unfortunately, but that was my biggest gripe. I hope these small changes do improve overall performance. I bet if you have a worse PC than someone like me, then you probably were having even more performance issues than this, so that I can see being a very good change, even if they aren't addressing the main change. To make sure that everyone starts their boat in a neutral state, the crystal extractor will now reset its charge process when a trial restarts, and not charge while the trial is paused. This is fair, you just don't want someone to be able to start a time trial with free extra boosts, or the ability to collect one without charging it. Just a small thing, when you're doing trials, every time you finish one, just glance at your extractor to see if it's done or about to be done, because it will reset. If mine is done, or if it's like 10 seconds away, I'll wait and then collect it and start the next trial. It's because I'm a greedy bitch and I like my crystal shards, but that's just me. Forcier says, this course alone pushed OSRS from needing a potato to run to suddenly needing a Ferrari on your desk to cope. Genuinely, I think that is the case. Like, Jubbly Jive made my computer sweat. And I haven't had that feeling in a long time. Like, I've been happily running my 12-year-old, 15-year-old games with no problem up until Jubbly Jive, and then it was a problem. So I hope they fix this even more than they already have. And then it also says when you interact with the trial timer, it will start. So either if you click the start trial button or if you start moving, as soon as your timer starts ticking up, your extractor starts going again. They've also fixed the issue with extra trial boxes and uneven box collision with all Barracuda trials. We'll keep an eye on your feedback surrounding this. I think people were annoyed about this change. So there were like some weird extra boxes that kind of gave you options in your routes. I think this was mainly in the Gwyneth Glide course. I don't know what the thought process around this is. I think, if I'm assuming, it's a time trial, so they want you to take an intended path. If that box was put there on purpose for you to discover different paths and create a faster route, then I can see them leaving it in. If it was just a mistake and they want to see how people can really refine the path that they intended people to take, I completely understand removing it. It sounds like it was just there accidentally, and like everything in this community, we read into it way too much, started overcooking, and now we're in the position where people are pissed off that an extra box was removed from the Gwyneth Glide. I personally don't care. I think if people are mad about it, it would be kind of cool if they decided to add it back in, because it does add depth, even if it wasn't their intention with the time trial. I think anything that adds a level of depth and thinking and choice with your gameplay is good, so if they see the feedback of people crying about it and decide to add in the extra boxes, I think that'd be cool. Opening a chest with a key obtained from a Barracuda trial will no longer delete the key if you don't have space to receive what's inside of it. Well, that's good. I didn't know you could do that. You rock up to a key thinking you're getting an outfit, and instead you just get absolutely nothing. You get your disappointment is immeasurable and your day is ruined. That sucks. Sorry if that happened to you, but it won't happen to anyone in future. Gwyneth Glide's blue and green crystal map icons now correctly match their teleport destinations. They have map icons? Crazy. Fixed a collision logic issue that led to a lot of issues with boats becoming stuck. Adding additional sticking points are expected to need map changes to resolve them, and we expect to work through these in the coming weeks. We're gonna find more. No matter how many The boat's stuck! Boat stuck! No matter how many of those we find and they patch, they're gonna find more and need to patch more, so keep finding them. Keep getting stuck, boys. Where there's a will, there's a way. If they patch them, get your boat lodged somewhere. I believe in you. It says here, please continue to report any issues with your boat becoming stuck. They're saying exactly what I'm saying. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you believe your boat can get stuck, oh, it can get stuck, baby. Can't wait for the T-bow spawn that comes from future boat pathing fixes in the JAGEX codebase. No, we're chill as long as they don't add any bushes, Forseer. As long as they don't add any C bushes, we shouldn't get any T-bow spawn. Added an option to the settings menu to allow players to determine who can use their cargo hold, separate and independent from who's allowed on your boat. Rest in peace, 99 Piracy. I was trying to work out an efficient method, but they killed it before I even could. Unlucky. It is now no longer possible to trim the sails while holding cargo. Oh, while you're in the active state of, like, lumbering around a box, you can't trim your sails. Why not? I can't trim the sails with my feet? I imagine my character's pretty flexible. I think they should revert this change, but that's just me. The Carpenter's outfit XP bonuses are now granted when crafting items at a shipwright's workbench. Yes, dude, we needed this. More buffs to AFK expensive construction. If you are financially irresponsible and don't value your time, make those repair kits, man. If you just hate your free time and also don't value your GP, yes, lock in. Put on that construction outfit. Make those repair kits. I believe in you. So stupid. Bounty tasks now correctly match the required sailing level for their NPC locations, with narwhals repositioned to keep them accessible. That sounds really annoying. I don't know if there was any way to cancel your current cargo task. I think it was just like, complete it or come back to it. So if you got one that you couldn't do, that sounds horrible. So I'm glad they fixed that. Just, there's gonna be a lot of little, like, ironing out small hiccups in the way the gameplay loop of leveling up through the early levels happens. So them spotting all these and fixing them will prevent anyone from getting locked out or needlessly delayed on a task that they should be able to do, so that's very good. Sea creatures that shouldn't drop bones, such as sharks, rays, and krakens, no longer do so. Sharks don't have bones, guys? The hell? Sharks definitely have bones. Teeth are bones. Changed my mind. Sharks have bones. They should revert this. Sharks are made out of cartilage, not bone. Tee-hee. Please don't nerf my crystal shards. What are their teeth made out of, Prim? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Their teeth are made out of teeth. And tooth is a bone. Sharks have bones. The materials list has been corrected for the teleport focus and the rune salvaging hook in the skill guide. Yeah, I think a lot of the... Maybe it was just a couple, but a few of the ingredient lists for making things were either incorrect amounts or they were missing some of the items, so that's good. I don't know who looks at the skill guide to look at the required things to build stuff. That seems unhinged, but you do you, boys. If that's a you thing, then it'll no longer be wrong for those two items, so that's pretty good. Fixed an issue where the camera would sometimes hide in a corner when joining the friend's boat. What if the camera likes to hide in the corner? Like, what if the camera didn't want to join in and just preferred to be in the corner? I don't know, I think they should have asked the camera how it felt about that before they made that change. Fixed an issue where repair kits weren't updating the ship's HP in the sailing side panel. Okay, cool. That's great. I didn't know that was happening, but cool. A lot of these things probably are not very common bugs, but just things that were happening to a few people. So if you see something and you're like, wait, that was working for me, yeah, it's probably just because it wasn't broken for everybody. They made it clearer for players to understand how to return to the Pandemonium during the quest. Dude, this is the #1 thing with sailing. Reading is fucking hard. Reading is genuinely so difficult. Andre and I are just in a constant battle of reading comprehension whenever we're charting and going around and doing all this shit, so it is genuinely, reading is fucking impossible. The collection log button for Shellbane, Griffin, and Scurious are now the correct entries. I don't even know what that means. Oh, were they like shifted down one? Because they're like alphabetically they were too close together, so like if you clicked on Scurious it must be something like that. Sailing is now selectable as a skilling activity for a clan event. Who cares? Fix typos in messages when receiving shark paint, sailing music track unlock hints, and parlaying Preston's examine text. Who the fuck is parlaying Preston? Is that my new bookie? Wait, did they add bookies with this update? And how much debt can I get in with them? I'll find this out for you guys. I'll get back to you on this one. But that's the last of the main sailing changes. Other changes... The animation for running with a Hill Giant Club, Tazar Kedam, or Meat Tenderizer has been updated to make your character hold the large weapons more appropriately. Oh, okay. Cool. This was a year ago they made this change for a few weapons, and now they're doing it for a few more. That's so fucking random. Sounds good. And the merch plug and the PvP rota, who cares? Let's read the actual thing that they have said here. What a week, sailors. Watching Old School's first ever new skill set sale has been one of the most surreal, joyful, and heartwarming moments in the game's history. From streamers dressing up as pirates, to players gleefully spooning their first sailing pets at level 1 and 2, seriously? Don't act surprised, there's so many players. Why are you acting surprised? No one's surprised. You're not surprised. Don't lie to us. To the absolute storm of memes, you've made this launch unforgettable. Don't lie to us! You're not surprised! We've seen wholesome sailing, lock-in snacks, group adventuring together into the unknown, communities cheering heavily for their favorite rank 1 racers, Heavy Pisser, and players rediscovering that special social magic the game has always had. Duo Gim charting, boys. Seeing the oceans full of life has been incredible. I do agree, it really has felt like an MMO. For one of the first times in a long time, it really has felt like an MMO where you see people going around, you're with everyone, you're kind of doing the same things, you're getting attacked by the same krakens, you watch a guy sink. It really has felt like a community game, and I think they nailed that. At the same time, we know launches come with waves. And then they say, below is the batch of our first changes. Some feedback has been loud, some passionate, some frustrating, and all of it valuable. Again, don't lie to us. Not all the feedback has been valuable. This is... come on. The dev team has been working around the clock to read your comments, investigate your bug reports, and respond to issues as fast as we responsibly can. While we can't fit all of the feedback changes and bug fixes into one release, we're listening, we're learning, and we're committed to making sailing the long-term skill it deserves to be. Thank you for telling us what's working, what's not, and what you want to see next, and to continue to let us know your thoughts on our first ever skill. First ever skill. Guys, Old School officially now has its first ever skill. We've had combat stats for a long time, but now we have our first skill. I think they mean first new skill. Before we dive in, let's go over some big points we're currently looking into. First, we're aware of the Crystal Extractor is giving a lot of XP and feeling like compulsory gameplay. We're considering taking some of this XP and redistributing it into some other areas of the game. But the team will continue to monitor the situation this week before making any adjustments. This is major. This is what I was talking about earlier in terms of if they change the XP, they have to do it in a way that doesn't make the people that haven't already absolutely sweated out sailing and milked the Crystal Extractor. They need to actually redistribute it in a way that will make them not feel like they've gotten robbed. I doubt they will do this in a way that makes people happy. This is not a dig at the JMods, this is more so a dig at the community that is never happy on any change ever. We'll see how it goes. Secondly, the team is very aware of the feedback from our UIM players, particularly surrounding the cargo hold. They were also very aware of the feedback from their UIM player who wiped at the Gwyneth glide. I saw a Reddit post earlier of the JMod replying, and they were like, yeah, it actually looks like you died to the crystal that goes onto your helm. They're like, bro, we don't think you crashed into the wall and insta-died. We're pretty sure you wiped your bank to just getting ticked down by the crystal that's supposed to kill you. I pray that's true, because holy shit, that's hilarious. That one UIM, if he wiped all of his Moon's gear and his Bernie claws and whatever, because he just forgot to spam click the crystal that was killing him, and then he made a whole Reddit post about he got insta-killed by a bug. Whew. I pray that is what happened. I hope they investigate it more and give us answers. I pray. God, UIMs, you're a different breed. Every time one of you wipes to your own stupidity, gives me a smile, and I'm not sorry about it. The current set of restrictions in place was deliberately conservative in case of any unexpected and undesired shifts in meta for the game mode. But it's clear these restrictions go too far. While there isn't a change in this update, it's something we're actively exploring, and we'd like to clarify that any change that affects UIMs will be done in small increments to try to gradually solve your frustrations without removing core elements or problem solving that comes with the game mode. So instead of one cargo slot, what I think they'll probably do is give you like, I don't know, like 100% size increase. That's pretty sick. Like, they'll double your cargo hold size. So now you can hold 2 things. Double is a lot, so like I think if they doubled it, the UIMs will be chilling and then they can't complain. Like, because then if the UIMs complain, they'll be like, bro, we already doubled your cargo hold size, like, and you're still crying about it? I think that's a good change. We should just ship it and then never think about it again, but that's just me. So that is the first blog. Overall, I think they've got a good grasp on where we are in terms of what needs to be done / what can be observed for longer and changed over a longer course of time. As much as it pains me to say, I'm happy to see you up there in heaven, James. You were too broken for this game. Every other bank matters. You weren't the best bank. You were for a day or two, but it wasn't meant to be. So, James, thank you for your brief moment with us, but I'm happy you're gone. Rest in peace, brother. I appreciate everyone for watching. We will be doing more sailing juice as everything progresses. Again, I'll be trying to work toward 99 in the next week or two, and then we'll give a full wrapped up thoughts on sailing once I've hit 99. I'll do some of the content that I avoided on the way to 99, give some thoughts, catch everyone up on the skill as a whole if you haven't touched it yet, and other than that, have a beautiful rest of your day. We are live every single day at twitch.tv/2factorrs, streaming progress on the duo group Iron Man. I'm sailing right now, boys. I've been clicking my extractor this whole time. I've been sailing every 60 seconds. We're locked in. We're absolutely locked in. So we will be getting 99 over the next week or two. Pull up if you would like to. Have a great rest of your day. Drink some water, touch some grass, kiss a homie, and we'll see you in the next one.